Chasing young boys with computers and say they are really young people. When people are stealing the billions which we have as the government.
Hello wonderful viewers, welcome back to Fem TV. The drama between Senator Natasha and Abbati just took a shocking turn. She's been suspended, her salary being seized, and also guess what? The other female senator stays silent. But before leaving, she drops one powerful statement that's shaking things up. Was this justice or just another power play? Stay tuned, let's break it all down.
Recommends as follows. 1. That the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Abbati for 6 months for her total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Senate in general to public opprobrium.
So, Senator Natasha has been slammed with a 6-month suspension for allegedly violating the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended. Basically, they accuse her of embarrassing the entire Senate and its leadership. But hold up, this is where it gets weird. Not only was she suspended, but her salary was also withheld, something that has never happened before. And to make it even messier, she wasn't even allowed to defend herself. Her mic was literally cut off. But the only word she was managed to say before she leaves was powerful.
This injustice will not be sustained. The pursuit for justice.
Now, here is where people are forming online. Many are saying this exposes the suppression of women's voice in politics. Even the other female senators stay quiet, which shocked a lot of people. Imagine if they had spoken up, would this have gone differently?
Prayer 1.
Yes.
That the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Abbati for 6 months for a total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Nigerian Senate in general to public opprobrium. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. I'd put the question. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
But let's not forget the double standard, because if we are being honest, the Nigerian Senate has seen some crazy moments like lawmaker fighting in 2015, Senator almost throwing blows over sitting arrangement, and even the Remi Tinubu versus Dino Malaye clash 9 years ago. Yet, none of this led to suspension like this. According to Remi Tinubu, the Senate is a mature chamber and should be respected. But a lot of people are side-eyeing that response. The question is, was this really about discipline, or was it about silencing a strong voice?
Stop us, but you don't come to on the other side and start dictating to us. Do you want us to protect you, or do you want us to defend you, or you want to be on your own? Because do you realize that the Senate, I'll up that mic and let me finish. Do you realize that the Senate, when we constitute this, whatever the law gives, we can also suspend you? Do you realize that? No, sir. No, sir.
It doesn't come here on camera. You threaten me with suspension.
We are not threatening you. I said
like
we are not threatening you.
I will not sit you threatening you suspension.
With all due respect, sir.
With all due respect to you, I won't sit here. You are my colleague. You are a senator like me. You cannot threaten me suspension. I take exception, ma'am.
Excuse me.
Off that man. Please. You are digging a hole for yourself.
Excuse me.
All right, then. Go and bury me.
Okay? I'm also another woman.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe that Senate is doing what is needful, because that's what it is. It's an inside place and it's a matured chambers. We shouldn't be hearing things like that. It's a matured chamber and it should be treated with respect. It's an honor for you to be in that place alone. I was there for 12 years. Even in my younger days, and I'm still trying to look young, you know. But people compliment you all the time. Only that, just put your place in yourself. Women, raise yourself high. Don't be in a position that men will be talking to you. You can always shut them down before they start. So all the very best. Keep doing your best. Happy International Women's.
And that's not even the end of everything. You need to listen to what Rufai Oseni and Dr. Abbati has to say concerning the issue. So if you are just coming across this YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel today. And if you are a returning subscriber, please make sure you like this video and also make sure you share it. And please do well to watch this video to the end.
Some Nigerians had called on to speak up was the First Lady, Senator Remi Tinubu. One, because of her position as the First Lady of the nation and a woman who has positioned herself as a women's rights gender advocate. And then second as well, because of her history and experience as having been a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a woman at that. So it was expected that she would understand some of the peculiarities of the challenges that women in the chambers face and be able to speak objectively to this matter. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if people would feel if some people might not feel disappointed by some of the comments made by her, with due respect. And I say this because more than ever, she understands how tensions can get high and how, as a woman in a place where you're in the minority, you feel the need to speak up for your rights. We saw, thank God that the internet never forgets, and we saw that video. In fact, remember how that debacle between her and Senator Dino Melaye went on for so long that Dino Melaye came to Lagos on body loan and said he was in front of her house, let her do her worst. And a lot of Nigerians spoke up for her and spoke up for the injustice at this point. And she herself didn't need a lot of voices. She, look at when they were shouting, order, order, she asserted herself. Yes. Thankfully for her, no one invited her to come before an ethics committee to defend her actions in the chambers. I wonder what the difference between that time and now is. One, was it a question of the leadership at the time? The fact that the leader was able to understand her stance and wasn't the leader in the direct eye of the storm, so he was able to be objective in this matter. Because that's the conversation we're also having, and I'm glad you said that, a judge and a jury in his own matter. Senator Abbati is a principal actor in this situation. He ought to has been advised by well-meaning Nigerians to at least recuse himself. I said earlier on, even if it were for the optics alone, to show that in the chambers, things are done properly, and I'm a man of integrity. Therefore, I am willing to subject myself to investigation to prove the fact that I am not, all these things you've said. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. What made matters worse is that it seemed as if her voice was further oppressed and depressed because she wasn't allowed to speak at all. She had to put in the mic, and then her mic was switched off, and she was unceremoniously walked out. It doesn't speak well at all for Nigeria or for women. And I said it earlier, 4 down to 3. Yes. I hope the other 3 female senators will survive in the House where it has become a gentleman's club.
That's
so it's very sad to hear this.
Very, very sad. And I just wanted also, because yesterday we discussed the topic of sexual harassment and the definition of sexual harassment. And I got some responses. I'd like to read that before I come to you. And this is a response I got from Instagram. And this person wrote, "Hello, good morning, OG. On your show this morning, What's Trending, after defining the term sexual harassment, you went ahead to say that if a lady dresses in a transparent or body-bearing clothing, that it does not concern the men. That if he looks at her somehow, it can amount to sexual harassment. How quickly did you forget that sexual harassment is not peculiar to one gender? The man can also be sexually harassed by a woman. Remember that men are moved by what they see. If a woman dresses as to invite a man to look at her, she's sexually harassing the men. Inasmuch as anyone can dress as it pleases him or her to social events, it is not so for official events and workplaces. We're all parents, and whatever side we take, it will affect our own children of the opposite gender." And this is from Mwadi. I believe Mwadi missed the session when we talked about the fact that it goes both ways. So because Natasha Abbati was the topic, and she's female, we concentrated on her topic. Of course, we have advocated here, and you also said it, Dr. Abbati, yesterday, that it goes both ways. You teach your men how to behave, you teach your women how to behave as well. But also, let me just, again, read the definition of sexual harassment before I come to you, Dr. Abbati. Sexual harassment is unwelcome sexual behavior that makes someone feel uncomfortable or humiliated. It can include physical, verbal, or visual actions. Sexual harassment is a form of sexual violence, which includes any sexual activity. This is a separate definition from which I read yesterday, and I wanted to make sure that we have that as well. Dr. Abbati, over to you.
I think the issues are as follows.
Yes.
Earlier on today, I said that, look, beyond the melodrama on the table or on the floor of the National Assembly, I think that the major thing here is that in terms of the conversation, public attention has been drawn afresh, regardless of whatever attitude anybody has towards it, about certain fundamental issues, about misogyny, or if you like, you call it sexual harassment, about the place of women in politics, and also about, the conduct of persons representing Nigeria at the highest levels. Those are issues of debate that will not go away. That these are issues that Nigeria will return to again and again about women representation and their place in politics. So in terms of issues, those are, live subjects that we'll continue to deal with. That may well be the gain of the whole of this melodrama. Now to the substantive issue. Under Section 60 of the 1999 Constitution, the Senate has the right, or the National Assembly, if you like, to make its own rules for the conduct of its own affairs. But the same Constitution of Nigeria, also recognizes the separation of powers. Principle established by Baron de Montesquieu in 1745 in an essay titled The Spirit of Law. The spirit of law, that is separate sections of government, the legislature, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. They are separate, but they can work together to defend the spirit of the law. Without being pedantic, quickly, if Mrs. Abbati Uduaghan feels that she has been served badly, there is injustice, she still has the right under the constitutions of Nigeria to seek redress where her rights may have been violated. And that's why she has already even filed a case dealing with fundamental human rights enforcement. Because even when you say there is separation of powers, you cannot abuse the rights of an individual. The court cannot inquire into that. But the precedent is that even the judiciary cannot dictate to the legislature. And, that's the principle under those three sections. However, the court knows what to do. We're told that Justice Iguatu's court is going to sit today. If there's been any violation of the law on the part of the Senate insisting on his own rules and his rights under Section 60, the court can charge them for contempt, can charge the chairman of that committee for contempt. That, I think, is the major issue. Yeah. But this conversation will continue. Rights where they've been violated should be defended. And I see that you are concerned about Mrs. Uduaghan's salary. Well, the thing is that in the past, other persons who were suspended collected their salaries.
That's the point.
I feel it's fair. Maybe they should allow her to have a salary, whether she needs it or not. But it's just unfortunate that the people who have been served the short end of the stick in this are the people of Kogi Central that she's representing. Because for as long as she's on suspension, nobody will be there to defend their interests from Kogi Central.
Absolutely. In terms of Senator Remi Tinubu's comments, where she talked about trying to prevent sexual harassment before it happens. And, to go back to that comment from that Instagram user who talked about the fact that, when I said if you go out and your skin is showing or your dress is the man's fault, it's also the woman's fault. Do you understand that people in Saudi Arabia get raped, get sexually harassed, and they are fully clothed? So it really doesn't have anything to do with what you're wearing. Like, this is what the point I'm trying to establish. It really doesn't have anything to do with how you appear. It has to do with what the person does to you. And that's really the point. Whether it's a man or a woman, because I've seen women who sexually harass men, because it's such an important...
Sexual harassment is in the mind.
Yes.
And please, it's not about what the person wears.
Yes. Yeah.
They are beautiful looking women.
Right.
That, goodness me, in the mind of some men, they've sexually harassed.
Yes.
They use the image of those women for their personal sexual activities, which is a wrong one. I mean, I don't want to masturbate on this topic too much.
Yeah.
No, give us empirical facts.
So, with due respect, Dr. Abbati, I will give you empirical facts.
Yes.
There are men that take pictures of beautiful looking women and use to commit acts of, you know, personal, sexual sensationalizing of their organs and their fantasy and their organs. The woman does not even need to wear anything sometimes. And that's why we need to condemn it. It's in the mind of the person.
Right.
So when the person now exhibits it by making attempts, then we need to condemn it. It's not about what the woman wears in the first place.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that.
It's not about what the woman wears.
But we here are encouraging our daughters to dress perfectly.
Better.
Like, we're not saying that you should go out wearing, don't free the nipple.
Yeah, don't do that.
We always encourage decent dressing on Arise News. Well, speaking about sexual harassment and all of that.
So, what do you think? Is Senator Natasha's suspension justified, or is this a clear case of power play? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I will be reading them all. And don't forget to subscribe to Fem TV, hit that like button and turn on notification so you never miss a thing. See you in the next video.